Drink it in, man.
Deep left side carry on. Picks on the block. At the 5. At the 2. At the 1 to the end zone. Touchdown, Detroit Lions.
Drink it in, man.
Get up, Stafford throws. It is end zone. Caught! Oh, baby, what a catch! Kenny Galladay, you're a freak! What a catch! Touchdown, Detroit Lions! Cornbread!
I love the Lions! Say it with me! I love the Lions!
Drink it in, man.
Detroit Koolaid, what is going on, everybody? We are back. We're back, me and Grifka, on a Wednesday. You know what we do. We talk Lions football. We got lots on the docket. You don't want to miss this show. There could be surprises. There's going to be lots of Lions talk. Week 2 of the preseason in the books, heading to week 3. Grifka, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, man, I'm just glad half the preseason's over. Okay, we're halfway to real football, you know, so that's what I'm looking forward to.
Oh, my goodness, right around the corner, man, and the preseason is just absolutely worthless. I mean, it's crazy how everybody's reading into everything, and what about this, what about that? I mean, we're going to talk about a lot today, but I cannot wait till September hits and we get some real games. So, Grifka, news and notes off the top. Lions have kind of been looking or trying to figure out what they're going to do at the receiver, even though they got about 12, 13 still on the roster. They went ahead and dropped a backup running back and brought in Lastly. I think was Jordan Lastly at receiver, played out in Denver and was with Baltimore, I believe. Any quick takes on him?
Yeah, this guy can't stick with the team. I think Baltimore was like his third team, and what I know from this guy, I mean, he's fast, which is good, but this guy has problems, holding on to the ball. So even if he makes the team, I don't think Lions fans will really like him because Lions fans have experienced enough players who can't hold on to a football. So, hey, well, welcome to the club. We'll see you for a couple weeks before you're cut. That's my take on it.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And we'll get into it when we do the game review, but I thought I saw some good things from some of the guys on the outside. And like you say, I'm just really curious how that shakes out. I don't know, why they need so many bodies when you really got to figure out if, the guy you drafted as well as a couple of these guys in their second or third year can do it. And that's what I'm interested in. So like you say, I think Lashley will be around a bit. I think he may flash again if he gets some opportunities, but I don't think it'll be enough to kind of stick on with the team here in a wide receiver role. So Grifka, next item I had was Matt Pat was doing his pressers, and usually either I'm at work or I'm kind of, I'll catch him at my lunch or, when I get home, I'll try to watch these pressers because, I mean, I got to admit, Matt Pat's my guy, but this guy is starting to become the catchphrase central. I mean, kind of like another guy I know. He keeps saying the same things and he keeps sort of giving these non-answers, and I don't know, it's frustrating me, but the other day he said something that perked my ears up. So they kind of asked him, is this the dress rehearsal? And he got into this big, long answer about kind of what an NFL game week looks like, about how each day, the first day they might be watching long form tape, and then they're watching cut ups on another day, and then they're position specific. And then this day is strictly, red zone, third and shorts, all these different situations. It kind of had it all segmented out. So it really just piqued my interest because a lot of the coaching stuff, when it comes down to X's and O's or, I want to out scheme this guy, to be honest, excuse me, that side of the game really doesn't interest me as much as, the roster building, the draft, the dollars and cents does. But I kind of would love to see at the very ground level, an NFL work week, see it from after the game on a Sunday all the way through that next Saturday. What do they do each day? How intensive are these cut up videos they make the players watch? What are these guys talking about that's just so in depth and so, troublesome that it's just the hardest thing ever to learn? I mean, what's your take on an NFL work week And I don't know if you heard these comments from Matt Pat, but they were kind of interesting without giving away everything. But it seemed like he opened up a little bit to what they do, how they do it, as well as how segmented it is.
Well, I'm sure every coach is probably a little different how they handle, work weeks, how much videotape they watch. And, I'm sure they leave the players up to, it's like, it'd probably be better for you if you watched a little more tape. And that's where you always hear the, first one in, last one out. Guys always turn off the lights, one of those type things. So I don't know if I find it all that interesting per se. I mean, I know every team breaks down a lot of tape, and I'm sure there's certain situations, like you said, we're gonna really focus on goal line. I mean, see what we need to improve there, and you're right. I mean, I'm more interested in how we make the team, who's making the team, what are you looking for to build the team, what type of players are you looking for, more so than scheme and stuff like that. And I'm sure there's plenty of people out there, guys that coach Pee Wee football, guys that coach high school football, guys that play, high school, college ball, and they've had to break down hours and hours of tape. So maybe they do like stuff like that. But, like you, not, trying to agree with you per se. I mean, I guess, building a team and what type of players you're looking for, because it happens in drafts like, oh, go get this linebacker. Well, he's a 3-4 linebacker. We run a 4-3. You think he's going to translate? Something like that, interests me more than something to the effect of like, okay, well, if this defense is playing a cover 2 on a 3rd and 8, and we're on our 40-yard line, we want this split here out this wide receiver, and we want the running back, 3 yards deep instead of 5, something like that, so. It's his comments, how he breaks down the team. I think it's more information than he's really given at a lot of his pressers. But like you, I find the building of the team, who's on the team, more interesting than the other aspect of it.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from. I guess like what I was saying is we've never seen it. We've never seen the actual. You just hear, oh man, we're grinding tape. What does that mean? Like, I'd love to see it at an NFL level. Like, oh, we come in and we have these. I mean, I know Stafford was hinting on how hard our practices are. I mean, we get all these crazy looks. The coach will stop practice and tell us we got 4th and 7 and no timeouts. And I would just love to see that throughout the week, as well as how Matt Pat says he changes it up versus every opponent. Like, what kind of stress does that put on the players in regards to learning? Like, what are they sending home with a guy like A. Sean and saying, hey, study this, you better know it tomorrow because we're going to be ready to rock and roll. He said, like, they only get one chance to do it right. So, like, if they send them home with a certain package or cut-ups to watch, they come back the next day and they do it. And he goes, we don't have time to go back and do it. You got to not only know it, but do it right because we got to move on to the next thing. Like, I just physically want to see that because it's either really intensive and really high level, or it just sounds that way, and it's much more basic than we ever get to really see.
Well, that, and like you said, I guess I would want to compare it to, obviously reporters can come and watch practice every once in a while, and like you said it before, was it the Caldwell? What do you call it? The Caldwell Country Club. What were his? I mean, we saw his practices early on in the season. Compared to like Matt Pat's, and maybe it's one of those things like with the bargaining agreement, they can only do so much. But still, in mid-season, what are the practices like? So I guess I can see your point of view on that. How tough are those practices? 4th week of the season, 8th week of the season, stuff like that. So yeah, that is pretty interesting because I know just like I only played high school football. I know as the season wore on, the practices got less intense simply because it's you've been practicing since early August and it's a long season and your body just can't take the beating. So I would assume maybe that would happen in the pros too, but you're right. Maybe I don't know. Maybe they are out there in week 10 pounding the crap out of each other like they were in week 2. So who knows?
So Grifka, we got to move on, but like now that I not only explained it but proved my point, you kind of, I don't know, you agree.
I agree with you.
Let's keep this thing moving, man. So
hey, I hate to break in. Sorry. We're sitting here to do this at a certain time. I just saw this. I don't know if you've seen this, but the Lions have actually given Snacks Harrison a 1-year extension. I don't know if you're able to pull that up. I just saw that come across the bottom line, on as I'm sitting here watching TV. So that's breaking news to anybody. But so by the time people listen to this, they probably would have already known that. But that's the first I've seen that. So, you know.
Oh my, Grifka, breaking news. It must be his guy that usually calls him at 2 a.m. broke in with a text message, or did this come from Lions 24/7, Grifka?
I'm sitting here watching ESPN and it crawled across the bottom, so that's what happened. So Adam Schefter reported it. My buddy Adam Schefter, who went to the University of Michigan, called me to let me know. He pinged me a text, said, Mike, you're going to want to know this for the podcast. He's like, I was going to call on the line at 989-272-3484, but I thought you'd want to know this right now. So I appreciate you, Adam Schefter, for doing that.
Absolutely incredible. Grifka, I mean, I got one definite sound drop for that. Yeah! I'm real happy about that. We were going to do something else, but let's break here for a second. What's the details on it?
And I'm sorry, I just thought he didn't give me the dollars or anything. It's just a 1-year extension added on, so it's going to keep the guy happy here for at least a couple more years, which is not a bad thing. I mean, like you said, like we talked before, he balled out when to show what he could do. He's here now. I'm assuming with this extra cash, I'm hoping he's going to look to continue balling out like he did before.
The beautiful sense of Twitter, Grifka. I just typed it in the first thing on my feed. Lions sign Harrison to a 1-year extension, $12 million in guarantees.
There you go. Adam Schefter must be too busy to give me all the details. He just let me know really quick.
And the other thing I love about it, Grifka, is that, like you said, it makes the guy happy. It kind of extends him, but it doesn't overextend him. It's not like they gave him 3 years at a big number. Even if the number's bigger, as long as the years are what they are with that one extra year, I think that's just great for all sides involved. It seems like another great move by Bob Quinn. It's like, hey, Snacks, we're not going to give you 3 more years when you're, nearing that time for defensive tackles. We love what you do, but it's also not a premier position. It's not like you sack the quarterback, 12, 15 times a year. But 1 year and give him a nice little price tag with probably a little bump there and a lot of different levels for him. Make the guy happy. Let him go out now and stop the run. Gotta love it.
Yeah, definitely. There you go. There's the breaking news for everybody.
I love it. I thought you were going to stop us for something stupid like you normally do, but that was good.
There you go, right there.
Now, Grifka, that's actually going to save you too, because the next thing I was going to do is pick a big fight with you. And the reason I'm going to pick a fight with you is because I tried to check in with you during the Lions game about were you seeing some of my live tweets, which I had a ton of fun doing with the fans on Twitter. Just kind of worked out well, where I was able to do a live tweet session for Lions Wire and interacting with fans, sort of just putting everything out there as I saw it, putting out hashtag Lions Wire Live. That was super fun. So I check in with you to see if you're seeing this or what's going on with you. And you write me back and say you're at a function. Are you kidding me? Like, what kind of response is that? Who does that?
Go to functions?
Say they're at a function.
That's where I was. I was at a function. I was at an empty. I was somewhere. I mean, that's what I went back to my hometown to see a couple of my bros that we go back to day one, man. They're my day ones. I mean, that's what I was doing.
Oh my gosh, it was such a ridiculous response. You're so lucky I didn't light you up for that.
Yeah, I was at a function.
I was at a function. Okay.
Out of town.
Grifka, you did give me a little word before we got rolling on the show that you did connect with some old friends that a few were fans of the show and others are new listeners. I mean, you want to shout anybody out? You want to give any props? I mean, then you can really tell if they're listening if they hear a shout out. I mean, you want to do any of that? You just want to thank anybody or no?
Well, I want to thank my friend who came over and started the conversation, Casey. You know who I'm talking about. He came over and said,
"What
you
up,
love the
Casey?"
Show. And a couple people I was talking to, like, what are they talking about? So busted out my friend Nolan. I was sitting chatting with him, told him, pointed out where we're at. And then my other buddy, man, he's a professional, fisherman, Jeff Fader, professional fisherman out there working his tail off. He's like, I listen to podcasts all the time when I'm driving. Where are you at? Found him, put him on there too. So maybe while he's out fishing, I'm sure, I'm not a fisherman myself, so I'm not sure what he's actually listening to while he's fishing. But, You can go out and talk to some other people doing that too, and let them know if there's any other Lions fan out there on the fishing tour. Let us know. Hit us up, man. We're there.
Nolan, Jeff, man, shout out. Appreciate you guys sort of giving the show a chance. And the best part is, like, so these guys asked Grifka, hey, what's the deal? You got a show? Where's it at? Grifka had like 10 ways they could listen. He's just like, man, we're on Apple, we're on Spotify. You can hit us up on TuneIn. Just so many ways to listen to the show. And like you said, it was a simple click. They click subscribe. Now it's going to come right to their phone. We sure hope they listen to this show for the shout out. And it's just reminder, everybody share this with a friend. Football season's right around the corner. Grifka always kind of helping us get other listeners as well as other people. We really appreciate that. And like you say, Detroit Koolaid, man, it's going to be flowing this year.
Yeah, big time with this team, of course. Let's get into let's take a break here, and then I want to talk to you about this game.
Yeah, man, let's get into it. Grifka, right before we go to break, I mean, I've done this last couple shows. Can I do a really quick Caruso for the people?
Sure, man. I enjoy these things.
All right, let me tee this up. So I already explained it. So there's no people will just get these the more we do them. But I'm just gonna hit this, and I'm gonna have to hit the music perfect timing. So here we go. Well, Griff, I guess you could say against the Texans, David didn't fails. Woo! Okay, that's a perfect way to go into break right there, man. David Fales showed up big. We're going to talk all about him, and we got to get our sponsors in here. So everybody, please listen to our sponsors. It helps us out. Please visit their sites, check them out, subscribe. Go get that discount at realitysportsonline.com. Definitely hit that up because it's fantasy football season. Check these out. We'll be right back.
This episode is brought to you by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. In breaking news, leading scientists worldwide are conducting experiments to determine if Reese's Peanut Butter Cups are the perfect combination of peanut butter and chocolate. However, it appears the study was inconclusive, as the scientists couldn't help but eat all the Reese's. Because when you want something sweet, you can't do better than Reese's. Find Reese's now at a store near you.
What's going on, Detroit Koolaid listeners? By now, most of you have probably heard of Reality Sports Online, the most powerful fantasy sports platform where owners get to build and manage their fantasy team just like an NFL general manager. But the question is, have you tried it? It's time to go see what all the buzz in the Dynasty community is all about. I'm talking free agency, multi-year contracts, a rookie draft, multi-team trades, franchise tags, contract extensions, first-round rookie options, automated contract and salary cap functionality, and much, much more. Think it sounds complicated? It's not. The best thing about Reality Sports Online Fantasy Front Office is it doesn't take any more time than a standard league. It just requires more strategy. Think you're among the fantasy elite? Well, this is the platform to test your mettle. Still not sure? You can test out your general manager skills for free in a mock free agency auction. If you like what you see, use promo code Koolaid, one word lowercase, promo code Koolaid, to receive a 10% discount on your team or league today. Fantasy just got real at realitysportsonline.com.
Allstate wants to remind fans that mayhem is everywhere. Like when your fantasy league meets up at your house. Everything's great until the hot plate gets too hot for the tablecloth. Now your kitchen's up in smoke. And if you don't have the right home insurance coverage, the cost to fix this is anything but a fantasy. So switch to Allstate, save money, and get protected from mayhem like this. Not available in every state based on coverage selected, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Savings vary.
Grifka, we're back, man. We got to talk about preseason game 2. I mean, normally I don't like talking about preseason football, but I kind of enjoyed watching this football game. Not only was I enjoying the live tweeting and kind of some of the interactions with the fans and having fun there, it got off to a little rocky start where Deshaun Watson went right down the field, bing, bam, boom, touchdown to D-Hop. I mean, that's going to happen. But the rest of the game, man, we saw some young guys play. We saw some defensive plays that were exciting. We saw some turnovers. David Fales, I mean, the guy just promoted with an absolute classic Caruso did some things. I mean, I enjoyed this game. I mean, I know you were at a function, but have you watched it? Have you read up? I mean, can you add anything to the show, Grifka?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good thing NFL Network is around at 2 a.m. when they decide to play this game, because I know they save the primetime games for like the Packers, the Steelers, the Cowboys. I mean, that's when like, how come we can't put this game on when I'm home? No, I got to stay up till like 2 a.m. on a Saturday night to sit here and watch the game. So I did. Well, I watched most of it. That was one of those things. It was a late night coming back from said function, and it took me a little bit to get back to sleep. So I stayed up and watched that. The biggest thing was, like you said, once again, I realized not all the starters were playing on the defensive line, but this team, they got to find the pass rush, man. There was times where, Watson was just standing back there. The guy had all day. He could have ordered a hot dog from the vendor and ate it before they even would have got to him. So, once again, it's just preseason, not losing my head. But if there's such a huge drop-off between the Lions ones and number twos, that might concern me a little bit. I know we're always talking about how much depth is on the team. It still seemed like the offense was running a little sluggish. I know they're doing the vanilla stuff right now. Stafford didn't play again. Carrion had a few nice runs right there in the game as well. But still, I mean, it just seemed like the offense was just a little stagnant with the new signee. Was it Josh Johnson, the journeyman? That's very alliterative right there. So, Fails, played better, in the second half than he did in the first game. So, I mean, I like to see that. I don't know where that puts him on the depth chart or if that even helps him, make the team. But he did look better there. And was it your boy, Will the Thrill, made a few plays on defense, which was nice to see.
Yeah, man, good stuff there. I mean, there's a few names that just jump out to me. I mean, I'm curious your take, because you've basically add this guy to your hate list. So I'm curious what you had to say. But I like not only what I saw from Jelani Tavai when it comes to the run game, but I really loved what Spielman had to say about him, and just the way he broke it down about him taking on blockers, the way he was filling holes, it's kind of like the passion and the size this guy brings. I mean, we've already talked about that. Yeah, I don't think it's very proper to put him out either on a receiver or good tight ends and say, go cover that guy. But he brought some stuff to the table that I really like to see. So Tavai jumped out to me. Jalen Reeves-Maben, JRM, man, this guy was, again, sideline to sideline, hitting, making plays, had some energy. I love to see that. And you mentioned him, man. My boy, Will Harris, I've been talking him up. He's had a slow start in camp. People saying he's having trouble in coverage. He's having trouble picking things up. He played a lot, and there was one time where they brought up on the broadcast where a ball got thrown out wide. And if he's, a year or so in, this is probably a pick six, but he just did not really play the football that well, but he still was there where he should have been. He obviously had the scoop and score for 6, a couple other nice plays that I noted, and really liked what I saw from him. As I told you and Hughes and other people, Will Harris, when he does post-game interviews or just in the jersey, he looks like a dang football player, looks like a guy that can do some things for you and has a great head on his shoulders. So love what I saw there. When you go to the offensive side of the ball, like I say, David Fales was slinging that thing. I mean, he started just throwing the ball deep, which we don't see that much in Detroit anymore. So I love the football going 25, 35 yards down the field. My boy Travis Fulgham making catches. I thought that overall they kind of moved it up and down decently and were able to get in the end zone. I loved the fact that the Zach Zenner, what's his initials? I mean, he's got 2 Z's, Grifka, right? So that's good. But I mean, if it was 3.
Yeah, if you had 3 Z's, you'd be asleep.
Absolutely, but that play to Zach Zenner, man, he so wide open. It felt like it was schemed up well, or either that or the defense had no clue. But nice little play where he was just wide open, walk in the end zone. You gotta love that. Lots of encouraging things I took from that game. You could say, "Oh, you still lost," or "Hey, he only got good once the Texans' backups were there." Hey, I thought I saw some decent things from depth players. So as much as I wasn't going to go crazy over week 1, like I'm not putting people in the Hall of Fame, but I'm saying it's a pretty entertaining preseason game with the point totals and the things that happened, as well as something to build off for some of those defensive guys that, yeah, they might not be our frontline guys, but I saw some decent things, and all my head keeps saying is, Oakrey, are you going to know what to do with yourself when Flowers, Snacks, Big Mike Daniels, A-Shawn, and Deshaun Hand and company are all up front just wreaking havoc? Like, I don't even understand what that's going to be like, but I cannot wait to see it.
Yeah, like I said, I was like listening to people afterwards, calling in and, complaining about the defense. And like I said, I realized not all the starters, but people like, well, A-Shawn Robinson was playing. Yeah, but he's not a pass rusher. I mean, he's more of a run stuffer. So, like you said, you realize who's on the field, realize their strengths. Don't expect A-Shawn to be playing off the edge, coming off like Lawrence Taylor, taking down, Sean Watson. It's not going to happen. So just, once again, I was reading people are jumping ship and, oh my God, this team's terrible. And, okay. Just once again, it's preseason, pump the brakes. I mean, coming into game 3 here, this is supposed to be the dress rehearsal. We're going to talk about that next show, but still, I mean, just everybody pump the brakes on this. They'll get this thing turned around or, get it going and it's going in the right direction right now. So everybody just stay calm.
Grifka, you know what you could do to those people that are either calling in radio shows or you're talking to in person if you had a soundboard like I do?
What's that?
They could be like mid-sentence and you just do this.
That's not a good call. No.
You don't like that call.
I don't like that call. Not a very good call.
I mean, wouldn't it be great to have like a soundboard in like real life when someone's just talking about something you don't care about, like the lady at work that wants to tell you about her cats, and then you just drop it on her.
That's not a good call.
I mean, would that be great or what?
Yeah. But if I'm talking to somebody about the Lions, then I'm going to be like, hey, man, you got a real opinion? Why don't you call 989-272-3484, and why don't you leave a message, and I'll get back to you. See? How awesome would that be? That's what I'm going to need to start doing.
That'd be a good cheap pop if you did that, a little cheap plug, which you're becoming known for these days recently. So, yeah, get that out there, Grifka, no doubt.
Yeah,
except the cat,
hey, man,
except the cat lady. We don't want her.
You got a voice? Why don't you hit me up on Twitter at Grifka DKC, and then I'll get back to you. Boom. Just like that.
Oh man, incredible. Maybe I think we're gonna have to add that to the bell when you do a cheap plug. I'm just gonna have to hit a bell on you, I think. But I'm working on a Grifka bell. We might have a new sound here, but we're definitely keeping that part of the show.
Okay. So anyways, let's do this. I mean, the game's in the books, and like you said, they seemed a little stagnant, turned around more in the second half. Some guys made some plays, got some nice stuff on tape, guys that we're both interested in seeing. Like I said, game 3 is coming up, man. Dress rehearsal. This is supposed to be the big bad one, against Buffalo. So, you got anything else to say about game 2?
No, I think we've hit it. So, like you say, everybody tune in Friday. Me and Grifka will be kind of previewing that game as well as talking about this new Snacks signing, once we dig into that a little bit more and all types of other things Lions. So that'll be fun. But last couple items, Grifka. So right before we went live to record, I listened to 2 podcasts today, and one, I'm trying to actually pull it up so people can go check it out if they want. I wish I had the sound clip. But one is it's a fantasy football show that I like to listen to. The Fantasy Pros have a podcast, and the name of this one today this is actually from Tuesday. I think I got the right one, yeah. Players you'll regret drafting their ADP with this guy, James KOH. If he's on Twitter, I'd like people to listen to this and hear his Lions takes and then go hit him up, because I listened to it while grabbing some grub today, and he all of a sudden he just starts talking about Kerryon Johnson and starts ragging on Kerryon. I can't understand why he's getting taken so high. I take him like 20 picks later. So I'm like, okay, that's your opinion, whatever. Then he went in like another 5 to 10 minute diatribe, as well as the other guy who I don't mind. He's usually kind of a co-host of the show. They just start telling about the Lions are the worst team. They got no offensive talent. Nobody wants anybody on the Lions offensively. I was getting angry, Grifka. I was like, well, what's going on right now? It was like a 5-10 minute segment of these 2 clowns that were like going on like this was an expansion squad.
What? Once again, they must be like Packers fan, Patriots fan, Cowboys fan. Oh wait, maybe they're the new up and coming Browns fan because I got Baker Mayfield. Mister, I haven't done nothing, but I get all the love. So
Grifka.
Whatever. That guy gets a whatever.
Grifka, did you just say Baker Mayfield on this show?
Yeah, I unfortunately said it. I give that guy more props than I do. Baker Mayfield right there. Baker. Yeah. I just want to let you know. He sucks, okay? Yeah, there you go. Mark it down.
I'm trying to fit that in whenever I can because you are going to hate that sound clip soon in this season. And that's going to be your biggest nightmare.
Right. I'm going to love it when he tries to just throw a 15-yard in and he throws it behind the guy and it's picked off and the announcer's like, well, it was tipped at the line of scrimmage, or he must have been blocked by the linebacker because he's only 3'2". Well, whatever. All right. Well, Mayfield. Yeah, okay.
This guy that was on the podcast, not Baker Mayfield, I got a few sounds for him.
Loser, 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 loser.
So go check this out, Lions fans. Like I say, hunt this James K.O. What's his name again? K-O-H. I don't even know how you would pronounce that. James Coe. Terrible take about our team. So that annoyed me. But then another quick item. So I get home. Normally I'm kind of getting a few things ready before we get on the show. And I love listening to Matt Derry, Locked on Lions, because it's usually, 20, 30 minutes. He kind of gives his takes, gets me updated on things. I kind of like his style. Always liked him on the radio doing Pistons games too and stuff. So I throw him on. And guess who's on there, Grifka? Take a guess. Who showed up? Take a guess.
From right now or in the past?
This is a ghost from our past that you know fondly.
Give me a hint.
I don't know. He said something at a certain press conference that you were a fan of back in the day.
Press conference.
Marinelli.
Oh, it's got to be Rod Parker then.
I turned this on and Rob, I'm listening to him and going, is that Rob Parker? I mean, you can tell his voice from a mile away, right? Still super negative about everything. Thinks he's got these great hot takes. It's I don't even know where he's working these days with just a big, blowhards kind of hating on the Lions. But then Matt Derry asked him about the infamous, I wish you had married a better defensive coordinator quote, which I'm like, oh, this is right up Grifka's alley. I got to bring it up on the show.
Greatest quote ever.
So he brings it up, and Rob Parker says, what I was really doing was trying to make light of the situation and get a laugh out of the guy. I brought that up thinking that he would say something to the effect of, yeah, I wish he would have married Mike Ditka, but that's not her type. And I'm like, really, bro? You thought Marinelli was going to come back to you with that type of response? Do you know this guy at all? How ridiculous is that?
He wasn't trying. No, he wasn't. He was ripping because that was a terrible defense, and we all know nepotism when we see it. So
right.
Yeah, that's all that was, and he was just like, "Yeah, don't you wish your daughter would have married a better defensive coordinator?" Yeah, that was like, "Oh, maybe if you would have got, Vince Lombardi, ha ha ha, whatever."
Right.
Man, give me a break. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It was the car.
Like, oh yeah, Mr. Parker, your box is already full and sitting by your car. Leave your door tag, with the receptionist, and we'll send you your last check. Leave a folder because everybody knows you're going to get kicked out of Detroit because nobody likes you to begin with. But that still is the greatest question ever at a press conference. It really is.
Rob Parker probably wouldn't admit it, but for a career decision, it might have been, I don't know, this.
It was a bad decision. Period, point blank. It was one of the dumbest decisions I ever made.
Oh man, and his answer was even dumber. Oh yeah, I bet Captain Rod was gonna break out into some aw shucks routine or some slapstick with you on that line, buddy. I just thought that was hilarious. And then, like I said, he went on to rag the Lions to say how bad they're gonna be, and Matt Stafford's never won anything, and he doesn't see them. They pumped up. Aaron Rodgers is the best of all time. If he's healthy, they're going to win the division. I was like, okay, I'm done with this right now. So 2 podcasts today, Griffith, got me fired up, about ready to go hit somebody with my pads on.
Nice.
Or I don't know if Rob Parker was in front of me at the time. Hold on. If Rob Parker was around, I might have just done this. The favorite part about that sound clip, Grifka, is the pause before the knockout shot. Listen again. This would be my combo meal on Rob Parker, and then the knockout shot. Wait for it. Classic stuff, man. So I just want to talk about that. Grifka, how about we end the show on another light note? You want to do that?
Sure.
So, Grifka, you promoted the line, the DKC Listener Line, which is tremendous. I love that you're finally helping the show out with doing a few promos.
If I'm right, that number's what, 989-272-3484?
Kevin Smith, Herman Moore. You can't forget it at the end. But we've had some great call-ins.
I can forget about Kevin Smith. Okay.
Oh, but not Kevin Smith. There's a difference.
Yeah, Mr.
And
shoestring tackle. What, he made shoestring tackles? No, he get tackled by the shoestring every time.
Right. But so we've had great calls from Conrad in Huntsville. He's a classic caller of the show. We've had we gotta get Conrad's sound clip in here if we're gonna talk about him.
Roll Tide, baby.
And we've had another guy on the show who's just like Chuck's favorite fan. His name's Todd. He's been on the fantasy show a little bit, spitting some very awkward rhymes and different things at the show. But today, Grifka, we got another caller. Again, we don't play all these calls on the show. A lot of them we either have to filter out or we kind of, keep just for listen to for fun and use, show topics. But if you leave us a great call, we'll put you on the show. If you leave us a not great call, we'll put you on the show. And Grifka, I'm not sure where this one falls on that spectrum. But what I do know is that we appreciate the call in. And this guy, I'm going to play this call, one, because I want you to sort of decipher it, because some of the things in it I couldn't really make out, but I thought they were humorous to say the least. And this guy definitely has a take on the Lions. So you ready for me to hit play on this thing, and we'll see what we come out. Again, if you leave a call, don't expect that we're just going to love it. We may have some fun with this one, and we also may, talk about what this guy's take is on the Lions. Grifka, you ready to do this?
Let's hear this.
All right, let's see what this guy has to say. Here we go.
Okay, Detroit Koolaid Podcast. This is LaFerge's Nuggets. This is for stuck in the middle of the road, Derek, and
what?
The populist get 12-4 Grifka. You guys are the best Lions of my podcast watching. Down pat. I'm within 6 decades Lions fan, do or die. Just want to say that based on both of your games, one preseason takes, you're both drinking a drug-laced Lions Kool-Aid.
What? No way.
Why? Because the Lions are light years away from playoff material.
I don't think so.
Our second and third teams suck.
I disagree.
Our first teamers have proved nothing, and history has proven the Lions are pretty sorry.
History doesn't matter.
Not to mention the impact injuries will have on this team with a suck depth at critical positions. Please use your after preseason game 2 against the Texans to argue me right or wrong. Go for it, guys. I'm looking forward to it. Thanks.
Man, a lot to unpack there, Grifka. But are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
The first thing I want to unpack is what's the name of this caller? I'm putting it at Frosty McNuggets is what I wrote down here on my sheet.
I don't know. I heard Harry Sachs myself, but I'm not quite for sure.
No, I think it was seriously though. I think LaFerge's Nuggets is what I heard. I'd love the people to hit us up on Twitter of what this guy's either name or his catchphrase was. That's the first thing. The second part, I mean, gosh, I don't know if I can replay it, this little section, but this was my favorite part of this section. Let me see if this works.
You guys are the best Lions of my podcast watching. Down pat.
But his first part was just so funny to me because it was like a riddle. It was like a riddle wrapped in a rhyme. I don't know what it was, but it was interesting. So, good, Grifka, what'd you take from that call?
He's just one of those guys that has his mindset that history. He's always going to say They've never been good. Blah blah blah. They're gonna suck again this year. They don't have any talent. First team hasn't done anything. Second team hasn't done anything. So, like we said, it's the second preseason game. I'm not going to be able to talk him down because, like Watson took the team down the field. So I really can't debate you on that. But I think there's some talent there, and they just got to put it all together. I don't think they're going to suck forever. So.
Yeah, I was just having some fun off the top, but like the gist of his call, like you say, it sounds to be, I think he said 6-decade Lions fan, so obviously respect that. Love that you listen to the show. We really appreciate it. We've obviously had calls and other things on here that we have some fun with, so just doing that to have some fun and make some jokes. But I mean, his overall take is that the Lions have no depth, even their starters aren't good, and then he was saying that these guaranteed injuries that are going to hit are just going to kind of derail this team. So, I mean, I had fun during his call sort of making little comments, but I meant all those. Like, I feel like this team can be a playoff football team, if they max out their potential. I think any team could get hurt by injuries any year, but to go ahead and say their backups are just trash and their starters aren't good enough, and their history is a reason that they won't be good this year. I mean, how many times am I going to fight him on that, Grifka, where I have to tell you that just because it rained yesterday doesn't mean it's going to rain tomorrow, or rain 6 years later is more what I do with the Lions people that want to reference the last 20 years. It's like, okay, those 20 years are really impacting this current football team. So I definitely have an issue with that take, but I mean, we'll see. Like, this guy's going off one preseason game. LaFurgis Nuggets is saying after one preseason game that, he didn't see anything. They look terrible, but that's why we don't judge an NFL football team off what they do in the first preseason game. So, like I say, it's definitely kind of a show me, hey, I want to see this before I believe it. It's also a guy that has watched lots of losing football for the Lions, which we all understand and can somewhat appreciate. But I'd say, wait till they really start playing football in September, see what those starters look like, as well as, you saw some flashes from the backups as we talked about on this show. So LaFurgis, I'd say just hang in there. Definitely call back. We appreciate your takes. The delivery was spot on. I mean, good stuff, I thought, Grifka.
Yeah, appreciate the call, definitely.
So Grifka hit you up with that number. We've talked about all types of things on this show. I say it's about time to get out of here, Grifka, but as well as I do, we don't do that without asking you one final question, which is, do you have anything else for the people?
Nope.
Oh, it makes me laugh every time. I even don't know why, but it's classic. So everybody, another fun episode of the Koolaid Cast. Hope you enjoyed it. Check us back here Friday morning. Be talking all things Lions, getting you ready for this preseason game Friday night, 8 o'clock against the Buffalo Bills. It should be a good one. I'm looking forward to it. Drink it in. We'll catch you then. We're out.
Pack the bag, start the plane. This game is over. It is over. What a comeback by the Lions. Drink it in, man.